These days, information came out that the image shown on Globo News, which showed Vorcaro downtown, with Alexandre de Moraes, Lula, and several people connected to the Partido dos Trabalhadores inside Globo News. Later, the editor ended up being fired. It was reported in Folha de São Paulo itself, and several other media outlets the firing happened. Now, these editors are outraged. They are outraged. And they promised to spill the beans and reveal where these orders came from. It's such a tense moment for Inácio that absolutely nothing he's been doing, as we can see, is working out. Gasoline, kerosene as we call it, aviation kerosene, is going to increase by 55%. The only people who are going to travel in this country are judiciary employees who travel for free, and many of them travel on Brazilian Air Force planes. Deputies and politicians, because the rest of the population won't be able to afford it. And forget about that little trip you used to plan, traveling once a year, going out for a trip and all that. Imagine the ticket prices being 55% more expensive. Do you know what made Zando, and especially Lula, irritated with Flávio over there in the United States? What couldn't be shown in 2022, Flávio showed on an international level to the entire United States. Flávio, who's led a great campaign. Look at what he did here. That drove Inácio crazy. Flávio went there. He showed the photo of Maduro, right? Let me fix it here, like this is better, like this. Okay. He showed the photo of Maduro, right? Yeah. In the middle of the CEPAC event. The pre-candidate spoke at CEPAC, an event of the North American right, and showed photos of Trump next to Bolsonaro. Look at what Flávio showed here. Lula was dismayed because this happened inside the United States of America.
Várias.
Look at what he did here.
Look, we Brazilians are still fighting. Because when they arrested my father, they brought the man back to power. Look, he showed Lula hugging Maduro. And booze, lots of booze. The same people who arrested my father took this man out. The former socialist president Lula da Silva, convicted multiple times for corruption, was jailed. From prison. And they put him back in the presidency. All of this under a flood of money from Al-Said. And the massive interference from the Biden administration. The result is that Brazil is going through another devastating economic crisis. And a public security crisis with a huge expansion of cartels, narco-terrorists, multiple scandals, and even corruption involving members of Lula's own family. Then he mentions it, right? That's the fact. Lulinha, Lula's brother, and so on, right? Imagine that being exposed. All over the United States of America. Lula hugging Nicolas Maduro, who is imprisoned there in the United States of America. So, my friends, this trip that Flávio took was extremely important. Very good. You can see Flávio there, right? Flávio. And my dear President Bolsonaro. Always in our hearts. Always. For everything, always. And always, right? And then you can imagine the impact, which was huge over there in the United States. Really huge. Lula is completely clueless. Need to fix this here. He doesn't know what to do. Because there are no results. Imagine that trip now. That people save so much for. Being able to travel once a year with the family by plane. Now, it won't be possible. Because, according to the Aeroin website, one of the specialist sites in the aviation sector, it's a reference. And if they're saying it, it's because it's a fact. This is a high-level site. It's the biggest aviation site we can mention. In Latin America, it's Aeroin. They're specialists in just that. And they brought aviation kerosene will have a 55% increase and will cause a spike in airline ticket prices. Remember when Daniela Lima used to say that?
You're going to see crowded airports again, just like bus stations.
I don't think there's anyone more wicked than her. There are many, but she's the champion. Then comes Andrea Sad, right? The website put it here, look. Vibra, the distributor, announced that it will make a historic 55% adjustment in the price of aviation kerosene, directly impacting Brazilian aviation. Following the rise in oil prices caused by American and Israeli attacks in Iran, which led to the partial closure of the Strait of Hormuz and, as a result, pushed the price of a barrel of oil above the $100 mark. Aviation fuels, both kerosene, which supplies turboprop aircraft, jets, and turboshaft helicopters, and aviation gasoline, which powers aircraft with piston engines. All credit given here to the Aeroinc website, which reported that it will increase by 55%. Do you think it stops there? Take a look at this. Diesel has disappeared. The saga of rural producers trying to find fuel right in the middle of harvest season. These guys are harvesting right now, and there's no diesel for them to put in the tractor, the machinery, the harvester, and everything else. Look at that. The price of diesel. Diesel shot up by 24%. It's already hitting the 10 reais per liter mark here in São Paulo. Here in São Paulo. The price. And the worst part is the truck drivers they don't even know what to do. Because Mariah slapped that 7 billion reais fine on those truck drivers who protested in 2022 as a warning. That was a warning. If you do anything, I'm going to destroy your lives. 7 billion, my friends. My friends. Just so you have an idea, the party fund, they give these politicians 5 billion reais. 5 billion. Now, only the truck drivers are taking action. Some of them. Just a handful of truck drivers. 7 billion reais. There's nothing more perverse than there isn't. And we're going to have to solve everything this year because there's no way around it. The election is going to be extremely important. It's bizarre to see these things that Alexandre de Moraes does. It doesn't make sense. That doesn't exist. It exists. And here, let's see how they're going to behave now with diesel, which is completely out of their control. Lula, even so, doesn't give up on taxes. Imagine the truck driver paying 10 reais for diesel. 10 reais. The guys who have to fill up a tank with 700, 800 liters, man. It's a lot of cruelty. It's too much. Lula says he's doing all he can. He's doing nothing. That guy is a damn scoundrel. That's a fact. Now, the fact I wanted to show... Look at this news. Fired editors are threatening to report that the order from the PowerPoint, that PowerPoint you're seeing in the background, that they made against Lula and Zandão, against Lula and the Partido dos Trabalhadores came from Globo's management, who ordered the PowerPoint to be made. They wouldn't have released this if it wasn't an order from above. So, what probably happened? It wasn't even really Inácio, okay? Threatening. Lula isn't reckless enough to threaten Globo. That must have come from certain forces. You know very well where it came from. Who said it? Are you crazy to put my face there, along with Vorcaros on Globo? Are you crazy to put that there? You probably already know who it is, right? And then they asked, Andre Sadie had to throw a product like this in their face, use some Parabo oil, right? Apologize. No, look, it wasn't Globo's intention. We didn't want to do this and all that. Apologize because it looked really bad. One of the main partners, you know very well where it's from, right? It's Globo. It always has been, and for now it will be. And then they apologized, fired the editor, as if it was her fault, right? It was an order from above, and the guys are threatening to report it. Imagine when this all leaks out. Man, it's going to be a real mess. A real mess.
O,
This misgovernment can't hold up. Look at this news. Lula is the most rejected of all presidents who have tried for re-election. Never has a president who tried to run for re-election been as rejected as Lula is right now. And all of this tends to get worse. It tends to get worse. Imagine how he won't get there in the heat, in the thick of it, in the electoral race. Man, it's really ugly, isn't it? Oh my God. I'll tell you this, I never think I'm good looking. I think I'm really ugly, but man, what an ugly guy. Man, it's just that he's such a wicked person. So evil that it makes him even uglier. Man, look. Not even this doll here, right? Which is the well-known Beastman. Beastman from the He-Man cartoon. The creature manages to be even uglier than this one. Like I always say, it's uglier than hitting your mom over food. What an ugly creature. Oh my goodness. That Janja over there. It's just that we know, right? Her interests aren't about beauty. Obviously, who is there? Oh my God. Oh my goodness. And then we observe that this man, his desperation is growing every day, and he keeps firing rubber bullets one after another. Now he confessed here that Evo Morales wanted money. It's a truth bomb that he keeps dropping at these events he attends, under a lot of circumstances that are hard to swallow.
Sit down, it's simple. Evo Morales would come to Brazil. While having lunch at the Itamarandinha and about to say goodbye, Evo would insist, no, I'm not leaving, okay? I'm not going away. I came to get money. I want more money. So many times. And we used to put Energy Mines, the president of Petrobras, to try to do this acting thing because he couldn't live without money. Yeah, so it's hard.
He admits here that he used taxes, our taxes, to finance dictators. Man, give this guy a lot of water that even birds don't drink, and he'll spill everything. He spills everything. This guy, if you give him water that even birds don't drink, he'll even give up his own mother. That's a fact. Share this video on WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook, and hit the like button. Join our family by subscribing to the channel. I'll return tomorrow with more news on the P's e Filhos, Fabiano Guiguet channel. Big hug to everyone. Always stay with God. Thanks. I'm out.